So recently I've been doing a heck lot of digging trying to find the next big thing to invest in, and trust me, that's not always easy to do at all, because finding a stock with disruptive technology at the right price at the right time is like winning a grand prize from your lottery ticket. In fact, did you know that only 24 out of 200 mid-cap stocks grew to become mega caps, translating into a success rate of only 12%? That means that for every 100 stocks that you actually invest in, 88 of them are likely to stay in the same segment or downgrade into mini cap over this period. And so what I'm about to share with you guys is a stock that seems to have every single opportunity to be the 12%, because once you have heard of this company's unique business model, chances are you will most likely fall in love with this company like I did. That's right guys, you have heard that correctly. I'm talking about Arrival Group, a different breed in the EV startup space. That's an EV company that we have not seen so far, and by that I mean not cars but electric buses and vans. To begin with, Arrival may not be the household name in America, but in its home market of the United Kingdom, Arrival is already one of the UK's most valuable startup, because up to date, Arrival has not only received $1.2 billion in orders with prominent customers like the UPS, which by the way has already pre-ordered 10,000 electric vans, making up $500 million from the $1.2 billion, but also massive investment backing from BlackRock, Kia, and Hyundai Motor, thanks to its game-changing Microfactories. I'll cover more on Microfactories later because it's actually very interesting in terms of how Arrival is doing everything Tesla doesn't. Anyways, I'll leave the transaction structure, valuation, and capital structure to you because I think it's pretty straightforward. In the meantime, let's first shift our focus on why this stock is soaring ahead of the Arrival SPAC merger. Is Arrival actually worth it at $30? If it's a good idea to buy right now, and then I'll let you come into your own conclusion. That way you will know if the stock deserves a spot on your watch list for future investment. Let's get to it. Okay, so here's what's going on. As soon as Arrival had reached a merger agreement with CIIC Merger Corp under the ticker symbol CIIC on November 18, this merger stock market performance has been nothing short of amazing. Then we saw this stock picking up some serious momentum after analysts including Jim Cramer calling investors to just buy it on CNBC, and pretty much investors were doing just that, because the reality is that Arrival's story sells. Well, in a more technical term, it's known as story stocks because they are the subject of many stories based on the interesting concept underlying the enterprise, and that's the reason why Nikola shot up to $90 at one point in time in the stock market, because their hydrogen fuel cell story sells. Really, at the price, what people are buying is the optimistic expectation of some new innovation or favorable press coverage, and that means that people are paying for its potential profit rather than its market value being solely based on fundamentals like assets and income. So pretty much in Arrival's story, we are looking at microfactories. Now, the way microfactory works is by doing the exact opposite of Tesla's Gigafactory. What it means is that instead of needing 5.3 million square feet of land, the size equivalent to 100 Boeing 747 jets, Microfactory only needs 200,000 square feet to set up in a standard warehouse space in an industrial park, making it 96% smaller than Gigafactory. Given the size of the factory, naturally a microfactory can only produce 10,000 vehicles per year, unlike Gigafactory where it can produce 500,000 vehicles per year. In microeconomies, based on the economies of scale theory, the size of the business generally matters when it comes to economies of scale. The more a business manufactures, the more the cost saving, because the cost per unit depends on how much the company produces, and that's what sets Tesla apart from its peers because of Elon Musk's obsession with economies of scales. However, unlike Gigafactory, this difference in microfactory format is only made possible because of Arrival's modular skateboard format that is said to be simpler to assemble, making automation easier, and this is where Arrival's microfactory value really kicks in. Think of microfactory like the model of McDonald's. You build as many McDonald's franchise as needed to fulfill the local demand. Similar to McDonald's concept, we are talking about building as many microfactories as needed to fulfill the demand. And all Arrival's microfactory needs is 6 months to open up and be operational, compared to the traditional 2 to 3 years for large-scale plants. Essentially, this approach does not need to forecast demand 3 to 4 years ahead in time in response to specific contracts. Another factor that makes microfactories seem viable is that Arrival's zero-emission vans are claimed to be at least 50% cheaper at 40 grand than the cost of gasoline or diesel fuel models due to its aggressive weight saving from an aluminum chassis and body panels made of proprietary composites. That just means for Arrival, it can build more factories, remove traditional manufacturing restrictions to remain profitable at low volumes, localize its factories, save a whole lot more costs by sourcing materials from the local area, and of course develop customized vehicles for the region they are in. Now, knowing what we know now, that then raises the question, is Arrival actually worth it at $30? Because the reality is that Arrival's vehicles are not in production yet, well, at least not until the fourth quarter of 2021. That means that it will take years before we see the first indication of success. Now, so let's go ahead and take a step back and look at some of the EV SPAC stocks, trends, and performance. Starting with Hyliion. In order to see the bigger picture, here are the two crucial dates to know: the merger deals announcement on June 19 and the merger vote on September 28. When you look at the chart, this is where it really gets insane because there was so much hype and excitement around the company. Then investors who got in at $10 were like, hey, you know what, it's time to take profit because the stock already went up to almost 300% to $30 in a short period of time. Next thing we know, the stock went down to $20. Then investors were like, alright, right now $20 is a good price. Let's get into the next wave of hype ahead of the merger announcement catalyst on September 28. And that's the reason why Hyliion went up to $50 and subsequently the reason why it is trading at $17 in the market today. And so to answer the question if Arrival is worth it at $30, in my opinion, no, because I believe that there will likely be another pullback to the low of $20. Given the advantages and drawbacks, I must say that I still have some doubts regarding Arrival's Microfactory because it remains unclear to me if Microfactory will turn out as claimed to provide a solid profit margin over the next decade, because we are talking about a business model that's completely the opposite to Tesla's Gigafactory. After all, Tesla has already proven itself by having a 5th straight profitable quarter. Overall, I think Arrival has a really interesting business model and I will definitely be a strong buyer in this stock if it dips to anywhere at low $20 like I mentioned earlier, because if anything, Arrival seems to have what it takes to be one of the best storage stocks in 2021. Anyways, before I end this video, be sure to sign up with Webull if you haven't already under the link below and get 4 free stocks from one of your favorite company, 2 stocks each valued between $2.50 to $250 and another 2 free stocks each valued between $8 to $1,600 after you deposit $100. Also, please hit the thumbs up button so that this video can reach to a brand new audience, and remember to subscribe for a new future video if you want to learn and watch more on my elaborated stock research. Till next time.